All right, YouTube, we're back from Labor Day weekend, and I wanted to do another video about the Kickstarter games that are kind of catching my eye, either games that have just come out or just launched, I should say, or getting near the end of their days on Kickstarter slash GameFound. So anyway, these are just some games that catch my eye that I think look interesting, that I think look cool. I'm not really endorsing them or anything, but as always, let me know down in the comments what games that you're seeing out there that looks interesting so we can talk about them. Really quick, make sure you join the Discord. The link is down below in the description if you want to talk more about board games, either Marvel Champions or other games. I'm all for that. Let's go check out some games then. All right, first up we have the big one, and while we're sitting here talking about it, it may hit $1 million while we mention it. But that is the Cyberpunk 2077 board game. This is Go On Board that did this. These are the same people that did the Witcher game, the Witcher, the Old World, and the recent one with the Path of Destiny, right? So they did that in case people are wondering what they've done in the past. But anyway, it looks like the video game. The video game is really cool. It's a favorite of mine. I do enjoy it a fair amount, though I haven't finished it. I should probably do that. But anyway, it's got a first day gift, which I think it's still going on as of right now, as I'm making this video. But yeah, it's basically a massive campaign game, but they're already unlocking a ton of stretch goals and doing all stuff. The add-on stuff's funny because it's just like merch, which is a funny add-on, but totally sure, whatever. But the components are high quality looking. The player boards look nice. It's just a very pretty looking game. I'm sure this will make a ton of money if you're into the campaign style. If you really like Cyberpunk, check it out. It definitely might be worthwhile, or maybe something that you're interested in. But yeah, so it's it's a massive game. It just looks like an absolute massive game. And I think they show so they show all the equipment and like the customization of what you can do for each character, which is pretty interesting, and all how it works with the cards and the weapons, and working through rooms and sneaking and or attacking or whatever, right? And different mission types that you can do, all that fun stuff. I want to see, there is a page here that shows the campaign progression. I might have passed it already, so we won't be able to see it. But they are definitely doing a lot with it. I mean, this is just a lot of stuff. Yeah, I already passed it already. But they're just doing a lot with it. I think it's gonna be a massive success overall. It'll be interesting to see how it's received once it comes out. But again, oh, here we go. So they have the campaign components and kind of how it starts with their prologue, and then kind of you work your way through these different scenarios, and there's more missions to come. So we'll see how big it actually ends up getting in the end. But yeah, it just seems crazy. It seems like a crazy large thing. So anyway, massive game. Did it hit $1 million while we were talking? No, 945,000 basically. So anyway, looks pretty good, looks pretty cool. It's something personally I won't be getting it because I already have campaign games I need to play and finish, and I don't have time for another one. But like I said, if you all people are interested in it, let me know down below because I'm interested in hearing that. So then there's F1 Roll and Race, and it's a print and play game, or it can be a print and play game. I think they sell physical copies too. No, it's just print and play stuff. It's just print and play. I'm sorry. But I'm a big fan of Formula One, and it's raised a decent amount. It's got you basically a roll and race cards for again Formula One. Very cheap, $5 because it's print and play. So if you're looking for like an actual like physical component, I won't see that. But anyway, it's a pretty interesting game. Nothing too complicated, pretty short. Again, I know I have a lot of Formula One fans in my audience, so this may be a thing that you're looking into. But they got their solo mode going on. They're opening up different circuits and all that fun stuff. So anyway, it looks interesting. I know people are very into print and play, and it's cool because you don't have to like pay for all this extra stuff. I do wish they would sell an option for like a physical component thing. But anyway, not going to be doing that with this, I guess. So in turn sequence, you roll a dice, you take, each player takes one die, and players use the die to move their card around the circuit using their speed, mobility, or fuel, right? So then it has different cards and what it does, and it just gives you a general gist of the game. So it's not a very complicated game in the way that it works. Pretty basic, pretty straightforward, but still cool to see Formula One kind of getting its due, and people supporting that. All right, so next up we have Runar: The Last Chance from Ludus Magnus Studio. This is the same people that did the Black Rose game, and they did They did the Renaissance game, Nova Atis Renaissance and Black Rose. I didn't even know they did a rebirth version. I actually really like the artwork of that game, so I kind of wish I knew about it. But anyway, they're redoing this game basically as kind of like a redo. So they did it on Kickstarter a while back, and I think it did moderately well. But they always thought it should have done apparently a lot better, so they relaunched it, and their goal was pretty low of $1,000. So they raised 66,000, or not dollars, euros. So they raised 66,000 euros. It looks like a cool game, like it's a very very giant map battle kind of style thing that they got going on here. So the Jarls and their most valiant warriors accepted this challenge, ready to set sail for an unknown land to retrieve the runic gems and the precious equipment left on the battlefield by the gods of Asgard during the battle against the Jotun. So again, lots of minis, lots of high quality components here. They have like neoprene and nicer stuff. They're doing single match PvP. They're doing campaign. They're doing solo. They're kind of doing all of it. So a lot of different options. But it's a competitive board game with high interaction and stunning comic-style miniatures. Each player forms and guides a warband of 3 Vikings, heroes through frozen harsh lands, teeming with savage and lethal creatures, each victory point by defeating powerful enemies, retrieving valuable runic gems, completing various objects, and defeating opposing heroes. Destiny cards make the unique moments of the game and trigger the final round. Play epic single matches or with heroes at full power, or play a 5-episode campaign evolving your heroes, right? So again, they talk about it here where they did a Kickstarter, they were fine, but they felt it should have done better. So that's why they're kind of redoing this, and they're really just kind of upgrading a lot. I mean, I'm not going to go through all of this, but you can see like the minis I think are pretty decent quality. I think they look pretty good. I think the artwork's good. I think all this stuff is good. The player boards, do they show it here? I think they have upgraded the Runar chest, right? The Runar chest will enhance and expand your Runar gaming experience with upgrades and everything. So then you get into the neoprene stuff and the wooden tokens and metal first player token, like really cool stuff if you're really into like deluxifying your game. They go through all the minis. I mean, it looks pretty. It looks like it's a high quality game overall. It's a bit expensive, I think. Yeah, for all in, it's 229 euros. So a bit expensive, but you get a lot of content. I know that they're making a big push on this because like I said, that they wanted to see more from the game. So I'm kind of interested to see what people think about this, if they're diving into this or not. All right, next we have Tirnanog. I don't know how to say that properly, but it's Celtic. And anyways, from Grand Gamers Guild. I like a lot of the games they come up with. So it's an Irish, what is it? The Irish myth cycles in the land of Tirnanog is the realm of the otherworld, the place where the fairies live and heroes visit on quests. So the game itself is 1 to 4 players, right? 1 to 5. 1 to 5 players, 30 to 45 minutes. The way it works is basically you get there's like a tableau. I'm trying to find where the actual cards are. So there's like a giant tableau of cards. Let's see if this shows it. But there's a bigger map section that shows it nice. So there's a main map out there. So you send your storytellers on a journey to retrieve encounter cards by placing them next to desired cards. So you can see they put their little meeple token type things out there. And select a card from your hand and add it to your saga. So this is how your scoring is going to work based on the column. So it's not just one, but it could be like one column and 2 column or something like that. The bigger it is, the more you score. It shows like the point value next to it on these cards on the side there. So you can kind of see like, I can't point all the way over there, but over there on those cards, it kind of shows you what the point value would be. So you shape your saga by changing the values and colors of your encounter cards through card effects, right? So as you build out your little tableau in front of you, you can change things around. After 5 rounds, you score each row according to the rules on its corresponding card and the most connected encounter cards of each color. So again, you can kind of see the scoring chart that it has on there, how it's kind of going through everything. So it's not an overly complicated game, right? You're just kind of building out your tableau, collecting out on the field. I think it's an interesting way of doing it. I mean, the components look nice. All of it looks fine. I think, what is it? So all in, it's $59. Not crazy, right? Not crazy expensive. They're not doing any stretch goals. Yeah. So it doesn't really do much of its stretch goals on it, which I think is fine. I think Grand Gamers Guild has gotten away from stretch goals a bit. But yeah, I think it's a pretty looking game. I think a lot of people were saying that it's a lot of thinkingness to it, of trying to plan out your tableau and what to pull and then what effects to use. So it's again, I think you can see on some of these cards here, like down here at the bottom, it has the when, like this one says when played, right? So it's when you play this card, you can change the effects of different cards or the cards that you have and do different things. So that's kind of where the brain burner is comes from, of how it's going to change things on the tableau field and then affect your scoring overall. So seems like an interesting game. Seems cool. I like the theme. And Grand Gamers Guild, I like their games. They have some other stuff. They did Endeavor, which is one of my favorite games, or they redid Endeavor. So a big fan of that. But yeah, definitely I think it looks like an interesting game to try out for sure. Then finally, we have a game. I need to be upfront about this. I don't like Everdell. I'm not a fan of that game. I don't think it's that much fun. I think a lot of people were drawn in by the giant tree in the middle and built a lot of hype around that. And the actual mechanics past the giant tree aren't bad, but I have some issues with it. But it always felt like this game that like put the giant table centerpiece because I was going to draw people into it, and it did, and obviously. So why am I showing this? Well, I like that they're slimming it all down, right? So it's basically a 1 to 2 player game, right? So Everdell Duo is a new 1 to 2 player competitive and cooperative game with 15 chapter campaigns plus oversized cards of the original Everdell. We'll get into that in a second. So it's a good amount of money, but it just seems like they slimmed everything down, right? They took all that stuff that was like fancy with it and like to make the table presence look better and stuff like that. Like I don't need a giant tree to make my table look more busy than it is. I just need a good game. And I like the idea of just, again, slimming down, because the core mechanics of the game, I don't think were great, but I don't think they were bad. I think they were just mediocre. And it'll be interesting to see if they expand upon it. I also don't like this game at 4 players. I think it takes way too long. So 2 players might be a sweet spot, but I think they did a pretty good job with their pricing, to be honest. So anyway, we'll get into the pricing stuff and whatnot, but 30-minute playtime, 2-player competitive, 1 to 2 player co-op, 15 character campaign. They have a whole explanation of it, so you can watch it. It's pretty quick. So wisely govern your woodland city to ensure that your critter citizens are joyful, buildings are properly constructed, and plenty of events are held to celebrate your triumphs. So it's a standalone game, so you don't need the other Everdell. Like, you just dive into this. So you get your cards, you get your sheet, all that fun stuff. It's got its normal, looks like wooden tokens in it, so good stuff. They go through all of how it plays, but again, it looks kind of more to the point and a little bit simpler, and I do appreciate this. Now, they are redoing some of the cards for larger print, and I'm getting old. I am getting old, and I don't mind certain card games that have normal, quote unquote, normal size cards, right? The 88 by 63 mil cards. But Tarot size cards are really nice. They're really nice to see things, especially if you're not holding on to them as much. I know a lot of these you do, but again, you can just read the cards easier, especially if people have to see them on a table. I think that's nice. I think tarot cards look really nice. And again, the mini cards are now getting to the regular size cards, which I think is smart. I think it looks good. I think it just looks prettier. So anyway, they're doing kind of this oversized card collection for the collector's edition. So if you're big into the original Everdell stuff, you can get the larger cards, which I think is nice. I think it's nice to have that option. Because again, if you're playing at a bigger table with a group of people, again, I wouldn't play it at 4 players, but I know a lot of people like it, and that's totally cool. The fact that you can, it's easier to read out there for other people, I think just makes people's lives easier, right? Anytime you can make a game a little more accessible, make it easier for people to read. The cards fit on the table pretty well. I think all that stuff is good, right? I think all that stuff is good. So it's kind of cool to see them do that. I think it's cool. But again, Everdell Duo, I mean, they're selling for like what, $20? Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. And then you can buy pretty much most of the rest of their stuff, right? All their stuff. There's so much stuff. You can buy so much stuff with them because they've built this out a lot. But I think the duo side of the game looks interesting. I think it looks like a nice little, again, quick, fun game. Not a lot of setup, just kind of get to the point. I like that. So it's definitely something I'll probably keep an eye on. So as always, I appreciate you watching these videos. Hopefully you're enjoying these. Talking a little bit about Kickstarters and just what's coming out. Let me know what's catching your eye out there. I'm always interested to see, what games look interesting or cool to people, because there's a lot out there now. There's a lot of different options. So like I said, let me know down in the comments. Make sure you read through the description of this video. There's a ton of links to support this channel, either through social media, media or affiliate links or whatever. Any support you give, I greatly appreciate. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will see you all next time.